Now for some game theory. We play 3 in draw because in draw we can either set for defense, send to the graveyard to special summon Bone Archwind, or discard to disrupt our opponent. 3 Ash. Ash is a fire monster, so we can either destroy it with Kirin to activate Kirin's effects, or set for defense. Also, when it is destroyed, our Fire King monster's effects will be activated. Of course, you can also send it to the graveyard to special summon Bone Archwind. Bone Archwind can be special summoned by sending any card to the graveyard, so all our cards can be used for that reason. Ash, because it disrupts as well. Artifact Lancea. Lancea you can either discard or use to special summon Bone Archwind. The reason we play Lancea is because in this deck we have no way to bring back our banished cards, so it's basically a prevention measure to not have them banished in the first place. Fire King Engine, Fire King Ponyx, on summon it adds to our hand 1 spell or trap, 1 Fire King spell or trap. Fire King Sanctuary is the one you wanna go with, because Fire King Sanctuary will give us Fire King Island. 3 Kirin, because Kirin begins our destruction cycles by destroying any fire monster to special summon itself. If we have Garunix in the graveyard or in the hand, or Onyx in the hand, can special summon itself. Also Barong, not bad at all. Of course, you wanna also have Kirin in the deck, so you can destroy Kirin from the deck with Garunix when Garunix is summoned, so you can revive a Fire King monster and destroy one of your opponent's cards. Garunix will play 2 because we always want to have 1 in the field and 1 in the graveyard. So when 1 is destroyed, the other one will activate its effect, special summon itself, and activate its effect on summon. Arvada is also useful because you can either set for defense. I always suggest normal summoning to have an negation by destroying another fire monster, so you also have distraction on top of that. Also, when it is destroyed, it brings back from our graveyard 1 monster with its effects negated. The monster you want to bring back is usually Barong, because when Barong is in the field, you can destroy him again, and then Barong will add again to your hand in the next standby phase a Fire King monster. Or if you also have Fire King Sanctuary in the field and a level 8 monster, you can bring one other level 8. So when your opponent special summons, you can exceed summon Garunix Eternity and destroy all other monsters on the field. And of course, 1 Barong, because we do not want to throw the Barong. Barong is in our deck to be poked by Garunix. Garunix destroys Barong, Barong goes to the graveyard. Because it was destroyed, in the next standby phase, adds to our hand 1 Fire King monster. Usually, we'll be adding Kirin. When we're out of Kirin, Garunix. When we're out of Garunix, Arvada. When we're out of Arvada, Ponyx. That's the idea. Now for the spells, 3 Fire King Sanctuary. Fire King Sanctuary, you always want to see in your opening hand. It adds Fire King Island, places a Fire King Island to our field. And Fire King Island we play 2 because we do not want to draw this card in our opening hand. It will be added with Sanctuary. Also, we have 1 backup. Backup in case our opponent destroys it, or we destroy it with the effect of Garunix Eternity to pop all our Fire King monsters, so we can activate their effects when they are destroyed. For the Crimson King engine, we have 3 Soul Resonators. Soul Resonator is the best card in this deck. On summon is a whole combo, so it's basically a 1-card combo. You always want to see this card in your opening hand. Also, it's a fire monster, so when it is destroyed, our Fire King monster's effects can be activated, or we can destroy Soul Resonator with the effect of Fire King Island and start our Fire King combos. On summon, Soul Resonator can add to our hand 1 level 4 or lower Fiend monster, which is basically all the monsters in the Crimson King engine. You always want to add Bone Archwind, so you can go into your combos. If you have Bone Archwind in your hand, you want to add Wild Wind. Wild Wind you want to always send to the graveyard by the effect of Bone Archwind. That way you have a special summon, and on the next main phase you can banish this card and search one Fiend Tuner from your deck and add it to your hand. We also play 3 Vision Resonators. Vision Resonators, when sent to the graveyard, they add to our hand one spell or trap that mentions Red Dragon Archwind, which is either Crimson Gaia or Red Zone. Also, when you have a monster that's dark and level 5 or higher, which is all of our synchro monster, except, yeah. So basically, if you have this, or if your opponent has a level 5 or higher dark monster in their field, you can also, at that moment, special summon Vision Resonator. We play one Red Resonator as well. A Red Resonator on normal summon and special summon from our hand one other monster. So if we draw him, we have a play to make. But of course we're playing one because we do not want to draw him. We want to special summon him from the deck with the effect of Crimson Resonator. We'll go into that in a bit. Red Resonator is also a fire monster, so it can be destroyed, or when it is destroyed, you can activate the effects of your Fire King monsters. We also have one Crimson Resonator. Crimson Resonator, you always want to send from your deck to the graveyard with the effect of Bone Archwind. Bone Archwind targets a monster on the field, self included, and adds or subtracts a level by sending one Fiend Tuner to the graveyard. You want to send Crimson Resonator to the graveyard because when you summon Red Rising Dragon can revive Crimson Resonator, and Crimson Resonator can activate his effect when he and one synchro monster is on the field, and special summon 2 Resonator monsters either from your hand or deck, which is going to be 1 red and 1 Vision Resonator. Red on special summon can give you life points equal to the highest attack of a monster on the field, and Vision Resonator can again be used to synchro summon higher into our, let's say, Scar Dragon 6 and 2. When sent to the graveyard, adds to our hand one spell trap that mentions Red Dragon Archwind. As I was saying, 3 Bone Archwind. Bone Archwind can special summon himself by sending one other card from your field or hand to the graveyard, and he special summons himself either from your hand or graveyard. So if Bone Archwind is in your graveyard and you have a card in your hand or field, you always have a play. Let's say your field is cleared, in your hand you have 0 cards, and let's say you draw Crimson Resonator. Crimson Resonator can special summon himself from your hand when you control no monsters, but it's a better play to activate Bone Archwind's effect in the graveyard to special summon himself by sending one card from your hand to the graveyard, then activate his effect, target himself to gain a level by sending one Fiend Tuner to the graveyard from your deck. Vision Resonator will add to your hand Crimson Gaia, activate Crimson Gaia to add to your hand another Crimson Resonator either from your deck or graveyard, so you can recycle this Vision Resonator. You add it to your hand because now Bone Archwind is level 5, Vision Resonator can special summon himself, and 5 and 2 you can go into a desperate play basically, but still burning your opponent, or at this, in this example, level 2 times 300, so 600 burn. That's the idea. So 1 Wandering King, Wild Wind, because you do not want to have him in your opening hand, you want to have him in your deck, and again send him there by the effect of Bone Archwind. 3 Crimson Gaia. Crimson Gaia adds to our hand one card that mentions a Red Dragon Archwind, so it's going to be either Vision, Soul, or Red Zone. If you, in the example we had before, it's the It's the only reason to add vision to your hand. If you have not used your normal summon yet, you can add soul and normal summon soul and go into your combos, or use him as material for Kirin to destroy, so Kirin can special summon himself, or maybe Fire King Island to destroy, to add to your hand one Fire King monster. Of course, if you are already into your combo and have a Red Dragon Archfiend monster on the field, you can go for Red Zone. Red Zone, when you control a Red Dragon Archfiend or a Synchro monster that mentions it, you can target one card on the field, destroy it. You can either destroy one fire monster of yours, so your Fire King monsters can activate their effects, or disrupt your opponent by destroying a card of theirs. Also, this is the only other way we have to bring back our banished monsters. If a monster is banished, you can target it and special summon it. And of course, one Red Zone, because we only want to search it with the effect of Crimson Gaia. For the extra deck, we have 3 Red Rising Dragon. Red Rising Dragon is our only level 6 Synchro, and on summon it can revive a monster, a Resonator monster from our graveyard. If all is well, you will have Crimson Resonator in your graveyard to special summon and activate its effect to special summon 2 from the deck. If Crimson Resonator for some reason is not in your graveyard and Red Resonator is your next best option, because on special summon it can target one monster on the field. You want to choose the monster with the highest attack, so you can give life points equal to that monster's attack. We also have one Moon Eating Dragon. Basically, Moon Eating Dragon is a backup option for when your Bone Archfiend is negated. So let's say you normal summon Soul, add to your hand Bone Archfiend, discard a card to the graveyard, you special summon Bone Archfiend, and then activate Bone Archfield's effect, targeting Soul to add or subtract a level. Usually subtract, so you can go into your main combo with Red Rising Dragon. If you've used up all your Red Rising Dragons, you can go for 4 and special summon one Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend and destroy all other special summon monsters, burning your opponent for 500 for each monster destroyed. But in the off chance that Bone Archfiend's effect is negated, 4 and 3, you have a level 7 special summon and burn your opponent for 300 times the level the tuner had, so 900, and also it gains attack until the end of your opponent's phase, 300 times the level of the non-tuner monster used for each synchro summon. So basically it gains 1200 to go to 2700. Now, Scarred Dragon Archfiend and Red Dragon Archfiend, when you are in your main combo, summoning Red Rising Dragon, summoning back a level 2 Resonator, you want to go for synchro summon of 8 to Scarred, because again, when you synchro summon with Scarred to a level 10, and the Scarred is sent to the graveyard, it special summons our Red Dragon Archfiend from the extra deck. Also, when it's Scarred, when it's used for a synchro summon, destroys all your opponent's attack position monsters. We also play 2 Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. It has the effect of destroying all other special summon monsters on the field and burning our opponent for 500 life points apiece. If you also have Fire King monsters in your hand, field, or graveyard, they can activate their effects as well. 1 Archfiend Abyss, it has a negation on the field. Also, when it inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can revive a tuner from your graveyard. 1 Bane, when Bane inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can special summon 2 tuners, 1 from your deck and 1 from your graveyard. Also, in the main phase, you can tribute another monster to special summon 1 Red Dragon Archfiend monster from your graveyard. We also play 1 Nether Soul Dragon, cannot be destroyed by battle. When it destroys an opponent's monster, it can make a second attack in a row. And during the standby phase, we can target 1 face-up monster our opponent controls, and its attack becomes half its current attack. And if it does, we inflict burn damage to your opponent equal to that lost attack. We also play 1 Archfiend King Calamity. When Calamity is summoned, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects on the field. Also, when you destroy an opponent's monster, you inflict burn damage to your opponent equal to that monster's attack. So basically, each time you destroy a monster, you inflict your opponent 4,000 damage. And lastly, our red Supernova Dragon. It gains 500 attack for each tuner in the graveyard. It cannot be destroyed by an opponent's card effect. And once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect or declares an attack with a monster, you can banish this card and all the cards your opponent controls. Also, during the next end phase, after you activate the effect of Red Supernova Dragon, you can special summon back your monster, or in case you have a red zone in your field, you can special summon Red Supernova Dragon in the same turn back to your field. And of course, the last two monsters, Garunix Eternity. You want to play two, you want to have a backup. You can special summon Garunix Eternity either in your turn or in your opponent's turn. When they special summon a monster and you have Fire King Sanctuary in your field, you can use Fire King monsters you control to exist summon Garunix Eternity and activate this effect to destroy all other special summon monsters on the field, so you disrupt your opponent's turn. And lastly, when we have Crimson Gaia and Red Dragon Archfiend on the field, we can declare an attack with our Red Dragon Archfiend, obtain the effect of Crimson Gaia to change all our opponent's monsters to face down defense position, and then after damage calculation with our Red Dragon Archfiend, we can destroy all defense position monsters our opponent controls, which is going to be all their monsters because of the effect of Crimson Gaia.